Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a cool toned makeup tutorial. Just a lot of neutrals, you know, a very basic look, but those are always my favorite to do. They're very wearable and I wanted to do a cool toned one today just because I don't normally do cool tone. I feel like I'm always doing more warm toned looks, so that's what we're going to be doing today. If that is something you are interested in seeing, let's go ahead and get started. So my eyes have already been primed. I used my MAC Painterly Paint Pot like I normally do. The palette we're going to be using today is the Natasha Denona Glam palette. This is a good cool toned eyeshadow palette that I always forget that I own. It's pretty expensive. I don't personally think it's worth your money. You can find these shades in a whole bunch of other drugstore and inexpensive palettes, but since this is what I have on hand, it's what I'm going to use today. The first brush I'm going to start out with is this Morphe Ariel A20 brush. It is just your average fluffy brush. This is the same as Sigma 825 or Morphe M433. Whatever you have on hand, go ahead and use that. This is the one I'm going to be using today. And I think I'm going to start out with this crease shade. It's a very cool toned, soft brown shade, and we're going to do exactly what it says and put it in the crease. What I love about this palette is just how good these shades are. Like, that's with one hit, and this is what we got going on. Natasha Denona palettes are really hit or miss, I feel like. Back in the day, they used to be really good and really expensive because they were really good. I think the hype around them kind of grew to an unhealthy level, and she couldn't really keep up with it. This palette, I think, is one of the ones that she did a better job on. The color story is really nice, and the shades in here are really good. Like, the mattes and the shimmers are both really good. I think if you're gonna buy one of her palettes, this is a good contender. I know that she has a new collection that she just came out with, and that palette apparently is like amazing, but this is definitely a good contender. So I'm actually putting this in the outer corner as well as in the crease just to give a bit of dimension. I find that when I add the darker shades to the outer corner, it really helps to lift my eyes, and I have pretty downturned eyes, so that's always what I'm going for. Then I'm going to go in with Smoke right here, which is a bit darker. It seems a bit more neutral than the crease shade. The crease shade was definitely a cool tone, but this one seems a bit more neutral. I would go in with this one because this is a nice cool dark shade, but it's a bit too dark. I want to do like a nice median shade in between this one and that dark one, so we're gonna go in with Smoke right here. For that, I'm going to use a Morphe M506 brush, a nice, precise, fluffy brush. Exactly what you want for this kind of shade and this kind of work. I'm gonna start at the lash line and bring it out into the outer corner. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know this is like what I normally do for all my looks. It just is what complements my eye shape. Like I said, this is nothing revolutionary, this look. It's a very average, run-of-the-mill eye look that anyone can do and anyone can wear, but I just love those kinds of looks, you know, you can't go wrong with them. Once that's down, I'll go in with more of the crease shade right here on that same Morphe Ariel brush, and I'll really just try to diffuse the edges of that Smoke shade to try to give myself the best gradient that I can get, and then I'm gonna bring it down on top of it on the lid. You want everything to look like butter so that you can't see where one shade starts and the other ends. Then what we're gonna do is on a pencil brush, this is the Morphe M431. This is my favorite pencil brush because it's super forgiving and easy to work with. We're gonna take the lash line shade, which is that cool, really dark shade I showed you before, just on the lash line. And right here, we're gonna pack it on for a smidge more dimension. It's almost like a black, but I feel like it's just a very dark, cool tone brown, which is almost what I prefer to a black because it's less harsh, but still gives you that like dimension that you're going for. I know that this all looks very messy, but we are gonna go in and clean it up, so don't focus on that, just focus on getting the perfect gradient and blending out as much as you can. Now that we have the outer gradient going on, we're gonna go in with the lid shades. The first one that I'm gonna take, so there's two outer lid shades right here, and I feel like this one's more cool toned, but I'm worried it's not gonna do what I want it to do. I think we're just gonna do it anyway. So I have two flat shader brushes by Morphe. One is an M421. This one's a lot smaller, and I think this is the one I'm gonna use for the inner corner because I want more control when it comes to that shade. What I'm gonna use for that outer lid shade is this Morphe M167 brush. It's a bit bigger, but I don't mind that for the first shade that I'm gonna use, which is the darker one. And I think I'm gonna go in with the cooler one. So I'm gonna take this one and focus it in the like middle of the eyelid. And that's where I'm gonna leave it for now. We are, like I said, gonna go in with another shade for the inner corner. I like to do this with a dark shimmer just to kind of help the inner corner and the outer corner mesh. When I add this dark one with the same texture as the inner corner that I'm gonna use, it really helps to make everything look cohesive and not like choppy or muddy or anything. Then I'm gonna take inner corner on the inner corner. I know, revolutionary. It's a nice cool toned like white shimmery shade. A lot of these other ones, like this one over here, is a little bit too warm, and even this one seems a little bit too warm, so I'm gonna go in with this like very cool toned shiny bright one, which is called inner corner. I'm gonna take that Morphe M421 brush, like I said, and focus this right in here, and we're gonna meet that outer crease. What is it called? That outer eyelid shade that I had already put down. See how it really helps to like give you a nice gradient across the eyelid? You can totally amp this look up by doing a cut crease. I just didn't want to do that today. I wanted to make it as like basic as possible. So basic, but so freaking pretty. You can't go wrong with a look like this, and I love how cool toned and smoky it is. So I'm gonna go and do my liner and lashes and clean up the edges of this, and I'll be back in just a second and we can keep on chugging along with this tutorial. So I'll see you in just a second. Okay, so now we are ready to rock and roll with base. The foundation I'm going to be using is this Revolution IRL Filter Longwear Foundation in the shade F7. Don't have any self-tan on right now, so I feel like this is going to be a good foundation for me because it is really light. It's like the lightest foundation I have in my collection. And I'm going to take a sponge with this. I'm going to just apply this directly to the face. If it's too dark, I'm just gonna bring it down. I know I have to self-tan, but the Loving Tan that I use, it just takes forever to come off, and it doesn't like fade cohesively. It fades in patches, which is so annoying. So I really have to wait until everything is pretty much off. I will say, it does look good. Like, it does look good on my face. Last time I tried it, I wasn't the biggest fan, but this time, it's looking pretty good. It does cover a lot. I mean, I guess I did put a lot on, but I have such a problem around my jaw area because the foundation like doesn't stick to it. I don't know why, and it's only on this side. Yeah, I really don't mind the way that it looks. It seems a lot better than when I tried it the other time. I don't know if it's just my skin is acting different right now or what, but I'm enjoying it a bit more. For concealer, I'm going to take this Tarte Shape Tape, this mini itty bitty size one. This is in the shade 22N Light Neutral. Just gonna apply this like I normally do and hope that this is light enough. I got a bad feeling that this is gonna be too dark. All right, I'm gonna take a bit of Rare Beauty concealer in the shade 170W. This always saves the day for me whenever I need a bit of a brighter concealer. I'm gonna put this in just the corners of my eye, like right here. And I'm gonna highlight with this. And I'll take my sponge again to blend this out. What I love about this Rare Beauty concealer is you can like layer it on top of anything and it'll still look good. Then I'll go in with this Fenty Beauty Matchsticks Cream Contour in the shade Amber. This is a great one because it's super cool tone, so it really gives you that shadow effect that you want to look for when you're doing a contour. And we're just gonna hit the hollows of the cheek. This is like my favorite cream contour ever. And I didn't know how to use it for so long. Before we go in with powder, I'm gonna go in with one more cream product, which is just this Milani Cheek Kiss cream blush in the shade Nude Kiss. It's a cream to powder blush, and it's a very, again, cool tone, like wine shade fall blush. I'm gonna use my finger for this and just hit right here, right on the cheekbones above where we put that cream contour. I don't normally bring it this far, but since my foundation is a bit on the paler side, I really want to bring in some warmth and like color so that I don't look dead. See how much of a difference that makes? I'm actually also gonna hit like right up here too, just to make me look alive a little bit. Now we're gonna set everything that we put down with the One Size setting powder. I'm pretty much out, which is crazy. So I feel like I don't normally go through setting powders that quickly, but this one is so good. I'm just gonna use like an Amazon powder puff and go in and set this. The one thing that I will say about that Tarte Shape Tape, it's great and it does cover a lot, but I feel like it really accentuates my bags, which I don't love. I don't know if it's just because it's like a thicker consistency or what, or maybe it's because I just have the wrong shade, but it really just, I feel like makes my bags look way more pronounced than they actually are, especially this side. Or maybe my bags are just that bad, I don't know. Yeah, I definitely need more of that powder because I'm almost completely out and I can't live my life without that powder. All right, now for bronzer, we're gonna use the Hoola Benefit Bronzer. This is a fantastic bronzer. It's very neutral toned, even I would say a little bit more cool toned than your average bronzer, and that's what I'm going for today. Like I said, I want to keep this very cool toned. I'm going to take it on a Real Techniques blush brush. We're just going to go right where we normally apply bronzer. I'm not going to do more blush because I feel like that Milani blush is doing exactly what I need it to do. So I think I'm going to go hop off camera and do my brows, and then I'll come back and we can do lips together. So I'll see you in just a second. So we are going to do the lower lash line before I forget, because I almost did again. I'm going to take Smoke right here, which was that medium like shade that we used on a flat shader brush like I normally do, and just push this up against the lower lash line. Then I'm going to take this Morphe M562. It's just a small fluffy brush, and I'm going to use that crease shade, which was the first one that we used, just to blow out the lower lash line. I find that this brush helps to like blow out the lower lash line without being too stiff or too harsh. It's quickly becoming my favorite to use. And then I'll pop some mascara on there too really quick. This is the Ilia Limitless Lash Mascara I've been using recently. Does your hand ever just twitch and you get mascara all over? I feel like that happens to me all the time. Now for lips, I want to keep it cool toned still, so I'm going to go in with this Artist Color Pencil in Endless Cacao, which is what I normally use to like contour with. I'm going to go in and just line my lips with it right now. It really is a gorgeous color on its own, like without doing all the contouring with it. Just using it as a normal lip liner, it really is a gorgeous shade. I'm gonna use this Fenty Stunna lip paint in the shade Unbutton, and I'm gonna kind of mesh this into the lip liner through the nice like 90s lip. I want a bit more of a stark contrast, so I'm gonna go grab my Morphe Virgin liquid lipstick that I use to do a bit of like contouring as well. I'm gonna take some of that in just like the center of the lips. Yeah, I like that. It's a very like muted nude lip, which is what I was going for. It feels very 90s right now. I feel like very like 90s look right now. So I am of course going to do my final step, which is just to bring back my little birthmark right here. I'm going to take my one size gel liner pencil in the shade Point Made, which is a busty brown, and this is the final look, you guys. I love the way that this came out. I feel like it definitely is a nice cool toned look. I feel like it's even a 90s look. Like you can use it as like a 90s makeup look if you really want to for like inspiration. The lips are something that I never would have normally done, but I'm glad that I did because they're such a pretty lip. It's so muted and gorgeous for this time of year. Before I forget, I want to mention the lashes that I used are the Beverly Drive Lily Lashes and Sephora collaboration. So if you guys did enjoy the video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Make sure if you have not already that you are subscribed to my channel and that you hit the little bell so you are always notified when I upload a new video. Let me know if you prefer cool toned makeup or warm toned makeup. I can never tell which one is my favorite. And I think that's it for today's video, you guys. I hope that you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in my next one.